Streaming. What's up, Luis?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Nice to have you on the podcast. Thanks for making time for it.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the UNG Odyssey podcast. Today, my guest is local DFW comic, and you can also see him throughout the U.S. because he travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
Luis
Stay on the road.
Juarez.
Hey.
Right now, he is. Are you opening, featuring, or?
I'm featuring for Hyenas, and I'm featured at Hyenas, the Improvs.
Mm-hmm.
Do some of these other clubs, like the Looney Bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hosting, opening over there still, trying to come up, you know.
Yeah.
Got dreams of headlining.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully
right
sooner
now
or later.
you're featuring for Nick Guerra, right?
Yeah, this weekend.
Cool. And
2 shows tonight, actually. 8 and 10.
now, when you do those, is it usually 2 shows?
Yeah,
Right.
Except for Thursday. Thursday's normally just 1 show, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday 2 shows, Saturday 2 show, and occasionally a Sunday show.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome though, man. I mean, I'm barely, I'm still hitting up the open mics and trying to get to that feature spot one day. Actually, I want to be MC first. I don't know what comes first, featuring or MC.
Yeah, MC.
MC?
Or in Dallas, or I guess it's more of an American thing. I think in other places, MC is like the most important part. So I think you start off as a feature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, somebody was telling me that recently. That's what they do over there. Because the host has to go out and set the tone, you know, and they gotta make sure that it's somebody that's kind of seasoned and has some jokes that, you know, because if you have a bad host, the show tends to go kind of bad from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be opening up, you're gonna want to open it up with some fire material. And usually, I think in Dallas, the hosts tend to be, especially through Hyenas, they put some really funny people. I mean, I started out through Hyenas, and like even Nick, I think, started through Hyenas opening, and he's headlining now.
Yeah, he told me about that.
Yeah.
13 years ago, man. He started off in Hyenas.
Yeah, he was something like that.
Yeah, he told me that like it's really changed. Like before, they used to like it was more like not aggressive, but more busting each other's balls and whatnot. I guess more straightforward and more like a brothers type of scenario.
Brotherhood of the comedy scene, probably.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller for sure.
I heard it's pretty huge now.
Also, he started before social media, I would assume. What's that? If he's done
13.
it 13, 14.
Yeah, it's like the MySpace era, really.
It's probably, he went into the MySpace, like, so what's that? 2005, 2006 when he started?
Mm-hmm.
And MySpace was like 04, 05, right? Something
Yeah,
like that.
and slowly Facebook was starting off as college people were doing it. But how long have you been doing comedy?
2013.
2013?
Going on 7 years.
7 years.
It'll be 7 years in April 27th. First time I did an open mic. I went up on vacation. You ever go to Fiesta in San Antonio? You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the River Walk?
The River Walk and all that. Well, every year in San Antonio they have like this big old citywide party or something. Pretty much it's like where all the Mexicans go to hang out from like everywhere, you know?
They all go and get drunk. I remember that.
That's all it is. It's a fucking drink all weekend type party atmosphere.
I think I went back in like 2000. It was somewhere between 2007 and 2009. I went down there with a group of friends that I had just made because I had just moved to Texas. Actually, it was earlier, like 2006. I had just moved to Texas from Iowa.
Oh, okay.
And they were the first group of friends that I met besides my cousins. And they like to go and do trips. So we went down to San Antonio for the Fiesta thing. And I had no idea what it was. And one of my friends brought like homemade wine.
Oh, shit.
And we started drinking like around 12. And I do not remember that whole day, really. We got so wasted. I don't remember what we did. I just remember we were walking and I was sipping out of this cup.
That's pretty much all you do the whole time. You literally you drink on the drive down, and you don't stop until you get back home. Pretty much.
Very, very dangerous.
Very bad.
Drink on the way down.
It's stupid. It's something I would do definitely when I was in my early 20s. We used to go every year, but one year I always wanted to do stand up. And on a Saturday day, it's called the River Center Comedy Club. I don't think it's there anymore. Mm-hmm. They had a Saturday open mic, and I had already been writing for like a year. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna like before I even did stand up, I was like trying to write jokes and ideas, and I was like, well, when I have it ready, I'm gonna go up and. I wish I would have just went up, because everything I thought I wrote before, I thought it was good, and then I was like, I should have just got up, and that's all I needed to do, and I sucked pretty bad. And
yeah.
The first time, yeah, of course.
There's not too many people who go up their first time and do really well.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, like, the people who do go up there their first time and do really well, they kind of get that thrill, and it kind of lasts maybe a couple of weeks, but then after that, like,
oh yeah, eventually
it kind of it slows down because these jokes that they've thought of, they've been thinking of them for a while, like maybe almost even up to a couple of years, where like, yeah, I've had this and I know this, and they kill it, yeah, they kill it, but then it's like, okay, well now it's time to come up with some newer stuff. It's like, oh shit, what are they gonna do? Take a whole year off to come up with new stuff?
Yeah, and also too, what you think is funny is really not that funny, Or the better you become as a comic, the more you start realizing, oh, that was not that good, or anybody could have wrote that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You want to become more unique in your writing, the more you do it. The second time I went up, I did okay, because after I just got that first taste, I was just like, oh man, this is it. This is what I want to do. I wanted to go back up at the open mic, even though I wasn't doing well. I still wanted to go back up and keep going. Yeah, and they're like, that's not how it works.
You're like, can I go again?
Yeah,
round
pretty
two.
Much. I didn't know. I mean, I watched stand up and stuff, and I'd always wanted to do it. I loved comedy, of course, and that following Wednesday, I went to Hyenas Dallas, and I showed up, and it just happened to be, how sometimes they do the open mic after a show, so it starts like late, like at 10:30.
Yeah.
So I looked online, and it said that the open mic started sign up started up like at 7 or something like that. So I got there at 7. It turns out they had a show, so I was able to get at the top of the list because I was like one of the first people there. Yeah. Came back, open mic started around 10:30, and I was one of the in the top first block that got to go up. And there was a crowd left over from the show, and I actually got laughs. And some of those jokes that I do now, some of them I kind of still do. Or of course, they've all shaped up to better. They've all shaped up to better, better material. But that first time, what I considered my real first time was at Hyenas, where I felt good and I was way more motivated. But then I did like a couple more and it didn't go well. And then I realized that it's not like that every week where I can just show up and go up first block. And I started going up late. Kind of got discouraged. I wasn't really making too many friends or really trying to. I didn't know how things worked. And I took off like 7 or 8 months and I didn't really do it again up until January of the following year. And since then I've just been doing it as much as I can.
Oh, so you kind of like got into that spot where like, oh man, nobody wants, do people even want me here type of thing, or
yeah, I think there's a lot of that vibe in the beginning, especially because you're like, am I funny? Am I not funny? Am I even doing this right or what? And when I was able to get on stage, it made me a better writer after that because I've always kind of just tried to focus on my writing. I'm like, I have an idea what's funny, and then in that time I was off, those 6-7 months that I didn't get up, I was writing the entire time. But now, this time that was different from the first time was that I actually went up, and I found myself practicing to myself, and when I started going up again, I wasn't so much better, but I felt like I had a better understanding of how it worked. Yeah. And I've been just trying to get up since.
My phone is not on silent. That's one thing I haven't really gotten got into the the aspect of like practicing to myself like in a mirror. Like I've done, I'm able to sit down and write, and I record all my sets, and I go over it, and I'll take out what people got laughs out of, and I try to cut the bullshit. But like just sitting there and like talking to myself in the mirror, I just haven't focus my mind into doing that one yet. I feel, of course, I feel silly. I'm pretty sure it's gonna take a little while to get used to doing that, but like,
I don't necessarily do that, like where I'm just like watching myself and doing that. I don't really do that. Everything just beats around in my head the entire time. I'm like, think of the idea, and then like in my head I keep repeating it, and then that's pretty much. Eventually I'll write it down when I think it's ready to be something I want to work on. So I'll kick around ideas for years now, and then I'm barely starting to do now. Like, I think the more I progress as a comedian, the easier it's become for me to do certain type of bits. And when you're first starting out, I think the easiest thing to do is try to do like one-liner jokes and stuff, because you're not really talking about yourself just yet. The longer you do it, the easier it is to start talking about yourself. And
I think like that. I think that's where I tend to be. I'm not really a one-liner type of person. Like, I'm not really that into one-liner jokes. I'll start off with one-liners just because I know that rule. You want to try to make them laugh within the first 15 seconds type of rule thing. But I'm very comfortable talking about myself, about like situations I've been in, and stuff kind of like that. I guess I'm more of a storyteller type of comic, because I find myself in silly situations all the time. So.
But you still look at everything as jokes, right? Like, you still look at everything like it's got to be funny. Yeah. Even if it is just a story.
Right? Yeah, it's. I still look at it and be like, okay, this is what happened, and where in that can I input a joke, because it's just a little spot can be introduced to where it's hilarious. So I mean, I'm still very young, so it's like. I'm still trying to figure out what.
How long you been doing it?
2 years.
2 years? But yeah, you should definitely start being able to at least get an idea, kind of where you're going with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even me, like, I'm only 6 years in, and you hear. I was talking to Nick last night. Actually, he said it takes about 15 years before you really even give yourself a chance to make it, technically, like make it or whatever. Yeah. And. So I'm still just always looking at it like I'm growing, no matter what I do. Everything is a learning experience, and that's how it always should be. I think even if you're doing it 30, 40 years, you should still be looking at it like a growing experience. Yeah, because
I mean, I hear a lot of comics who do that, who've been doing it for that long, and they're like, I got this special coming out, like, but every time I come up with the special, it needs to be better than the last special, because I should be growing as a comic. So. I totally understand that, and I see how, they don't want their special to not be as good as the previous one, because that just means that they weren't trying hard enough.
Or just once you become content, I think that's when you kind of stop being as funny. Does that make sense?
No, that totally makes sense.
But I don't see that happening to me anytime soon, because I mean, I'm not really technically nobody. I mean, I'm starting to come up and getting regular work.
Do you have a day job?
Yeah, I deliver food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do DoorDash.
Oh, okay. So that job,
that supplement income pretty much.
That allows you to like travel whenever you want.
Exactly. Well, I barely started doing that. Like, I would say the last year and a half, where I started doing comedy more full time, like where that's paying most of my bills. Yeah. And then of course I got supplement income, and like DoorDash, I started doing like Lyft, Uber, stuff like that, And I deliver food for Panera Bread a couple days out the week, and any little book I can have. What I'm paying for at this point is the flexibility, so I can go do shows, so I don't have to turn shows down, And that's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, because you don't want to have that job where like you're like, oh well, I have to be there. I can't miss out. I get in trouble with my job and rely on asking for days off, and it's just like
exactly.
So, but that's good though. That's good that you're able to find a job to where you just have that income to pay for whatever you need, but like the comedy is not costing you money, because right now doing comedy for me is costing me money, because I go gas, buying stuff, because I want to buy a drink here and there, so I can tip the waitress, tip the bartenders, also supporting other comics, going to other venues, watching other comics of their shows, because I want to I want to see my friends do good, and I also know that they're my comic friends. So if they're like, hey, come, I'm having a show coming. The more people that come, the better. Why wouldn't I? If I have the opportunity to go.
Yeah, it's good to have a support system because, especially people who have been doing it as long as you have. Mm-hmm. There's comics that I started out with, or we all started around the same time. They're all like starting to get a little bit of success, and it's kind of happy to know that you're like, yeah, I remember when we were.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's a nice feeling. I don't ever understood why people like hate on other people if they got an opportunity or whatever. Because this is, when you break it down in the end, it's just you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the scene, it's you, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you do well, I'm happy for you, you know what I mean? I can't wish wrong on you or anything like that.
It's just I don't see the point in having negativity like that in your thought process. Like, oh, that guy should just, that guy, like, nah.
Yeah, unless somebody's a fucking dick or something. Yeah, I don't like personally, because there are some of those for sure, but
there's a few of them. Yeah,
people that go out of their way to make either, fuck with your stuff. Mm-hmm. Then I don't have no love for those people. But for the most part, the people I do work with and that I do consider close friends in comedy, I support them and wish well for them. Yeah, and even just other people that are out there working and grinding, I don't necessarily even know on a personal level. I still like seeing that happen. Mm-hmm. Especially if they're from the scene, because that's how you represent the real scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a Dallas comic's out there in New York just killing it, well, he's representing the scene, or in LA or wherever he goes, Chicago,
Yeah, as far as here goes with the, I guess I would say not really my generation, but the people who I've known to see start with me, because from the way I feel, or I've been told that it's like almost like every 3 years you'll get a new group. So yeah, I've heard that like we were the latest year, and we're all like getting to our 2-3 years, and we're now noticing the newer comics that are coming in. That
you're starting to see new comics.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing some of the comics fall off the board.
Yeah,
and I've seen the other comics like who are like almost 2 to 3 years ahead of me. They're all starting to like get out. Like you asked me a minute ago, like who I've had on the podcast. Like John Brown. He's been on here. Yeah, he's been on, and he's a feature as well. Mm-hmm. He's one of the comics that, like, when I first started, he was still like, he was not too new, but he'd been doing it for a while. Tony Castillas.
Oh yeah, Tony.
Tony just became a feature for Hyenas.
Yeah, he actually did a guest spot last night on the show. Both shows. Yeah, he's doing like Just for Laughs or something. An audition. So he was out there practicing some material. And, yeah, Tony's a good comic.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah. Who else? Matt McElhone. He's starting to get more out there. He's been on a lot of road trips. Well, he's been on a road trip with Butch before, and like they've gone out and done shows. So he's he's also on his way up. Of course, Nick Garrett was probably one of the most veterans ones that I've had on. And we talked a lot, and Nick just had so much stuff. Yeah. He is super smart, man. That guy's real smart. This other guy, his name is oh shit, no, I can't think of his name. Fuck, man. Colin Williams. I don't know if you heard of Colin Williams. He does a lot of TED Talk type of comedy. Okay. He has like this special that he's been working on called Suicide Note. And he's just talking about it's comedy mixed with his life, and it's really dark. I don't think he has it on anything yet.
Is it a local guy?
No, he's actually from Seattle. He's from Seattle. Yeah, he's been doing comedy for 13 years as well.
Oh, okay.
And so he's right now he's traveling throughout the U.S. to talk about his special, the Comedy Note.
Oh, okay.
But he actually has two different specials. He has one where he is just more comedy, and then he has the one where it's called Suicide Note, which is a little darker. It's like apparently it's really dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he has it, he's gonna let me know when he has it finalized and he has an actual special for it come out. So that's gonna be good. I just see little clips of him when I follow him on his Instagram and whatnot. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah.
For sure.
Tony's gonna be on here pretty soon though. Tony Castillas, him and Parker Slavens.
Oh yeah, Parker.
Yeah, because they started a podcast together.
Yeah.
So,
okay, yeah.
So I'm gonna have both of them on. We're gonna talk about that, and then.
Yeah, Parker, I think, kind of started when I started. Maybe. I know he was hosting Hyenas for a good little while.
Mm-hmm.
Parker's real funny too.
Yeah, he
Both
is.
of those guys are good. There's a lot of funny people in Dallas, man. A lot of really funny people.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. A lot of them.
Yeah, I don't even know how many comics there are.
I want to have what's his face? The guy who puts the talent together for Hyenas.
Perio?
Yeah, Ryan Perio.
The guy that he books the hosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to have Perio on sooner or later.
Yeah, Perio is. He's been doing a good while too, I think.
Yeah, I think 9 years from what I heard. Maybe a little bit longer. Because I know Nick said that him and Perio kind of started off almost close together.
Oh, really?
So maybe 9
at least
10.
over 10, probably, for sure.
Yeah. That'll be fun if I can ever get him on here.
Yeah, because when I started hosting for Hyenas back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the first hosting gig I ever did was the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
What?
You remember the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight? That weekend, was the first weekend I ever got to host, which sucked because I really wanted to watch that fight. It was very bittersweet, but I got to do my first weekend at Hyenas. Was that weekend at the one in Dallas, and then I've been working with them since. And the last year and a half, I've been featuring.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, it is cool, man. I know you've been to places to do comedy with several different shows, even higher, way higher up comedy. You told me before you did comedy with the Hispanic guy. He was on Born in East LA.
Oh yeah, Paul Rodriguez.
Paul Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, man, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
I worked with him. It was all Texas stuff. We did the Houston Improv, the Addison. We were just at Addison a couple months ago in Arlington, and. The way I even got that was I was doing the FCIT. Did you do that? The funniest comic in Texas competition.
No. I've seen it once, and I think the one time I saw it, Wes Corwin won it.
Yeah, Wes won last year. And they usually started around this time. I don't know if they're doing it.
Yeah, I haven't seen a flyer for it or anything like that on Facebook this time. So
yeah, I did it. Was it 2 years ago? And I got to the semifinals, and it was right before they were about to announce the finals. And I was in the semifinals, and the manager comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I think you would be good pick to host or to open for Paul Rodriguez. He's coming next month or whatever." And I took that as okay, I'm probably gonna lose, but I'm getting some work out of it, at the Improv. So I ended up being able. I didn't advance in the competition, but I did end up getting that weekend, and I got to feature for Paul Rodriguez, and. They were the first club to feature me, too, because Hyenas hadn't featured me to that point. And I got to feature for him, and then it was a really fun weekend. Me and him actually went to the casino, because it was his birthday.
Yeah.
And we went to the casino that night, because he likes to gamble.
Which casino?
The WinStar.
The WinStar?
So we went to the WinStar that Friday night, and we were there till 9 or 10 in the morning. And it was really cool because I got to ride with him the whole way, and he's one of the guys that started at the Comedy Store back in the day. So he was telling me all these stories about Pryor, Dangerfield, and those old school comedians. You know what I mean?
Kind of like the veterans of comedy when he was in his 20s, he was freshman year.
Sure. So that was pretty cool. I got to work with him in Houston, and then of course here in Addison.
Did you say anything about Rodney Dangerfield walking around in the road when you can see his dick?
Oh shit! No, he didn't mention that.
Because I know
that's a thing.
I've heard Rogan when he said, when he would talk when Rogan talked about it. He said he used to work the door for the Ice House or the Comedy House. One of them. I forget which one. The Comedy Store. But he said he would Rodney would walk in. He'd be all up in his robe. And he'd just be walking around in his bathrobe, all chilling and whatnot. Shit. And then he would, he said, he would sit down and cross his legs, and his balls would just be hanging out.
God damn, just balls. That's all.
Just balls.
That's fucking nuts.
So I was wondering maybe Paul, you were saying about that.
Nah, he didn't mention nothing about that.
He was pretty notorious for that.
Yeah, I heard he was like really dirty on stage.
Yeah, like
real dirty.
Yeah, especially when he got to his later years, he just didn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, well, he was already starting when he was like late. I think he was like in his 40s or 50s before he even got a break.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because like right now, like I'm a big fan of Lewis Black.
Okay.
And I kind of just see him. He got a late start to his stardom too. I mean, he wasn't until the late 40s when he finally started getting more out there. But I actually get a chance. I'm gonna get to see him. He's gonna be here at the not the American Airlines. Is American Airlines Center? What is that big one? That's
the Verizon, the theater, or
yeah, the theater.
There's that one in Grand Prairie, and then there's the Majestic downtown.
Yeah. I think it's the.
I don't think he's doing arenas, but he's definitely doing probably a theater.
Yeah, I think
it's
the
Majestic or Verizon. Verizon's the one in Grand Prairie.
I think it's the Majestic.
The one downtown
in Dallas.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I saw Bill Burr there. That was really cool. A few years ago.
Fuck, man, Bill Burr's my favorite comic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's because when it comes to his comedy, I just feel like I can relate to his
anger.
His anger, man.
Yeah.
When he goes off on stuff, I just feel like I can just relate to that style of frustration of the way certain things are.
Yeah. You an angry person or what?
Not really. No, I'm not really an angry person. But, like, I have angry moments where I don't handle it right. Like, okay, let me give you an example. My doctor told me I need to work on my diet. And that, she's worried about me becoming diabetic. So she told me, take it easy on the carbs and sugars. And just don't eat, try not to eat so many carbs. So I went to the grocery store with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
She buys a pack of velvet cookies, chocolate cookies, 6 of them. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, maybe I'll get to have like, cool, she bought 6, I'll have one. She came home, and we came home, she had them on the counter, and she opens it up, she grabs one. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm all like, yeah. So I go to grab one, and she grabs it, and she holds it. She's like, nah, none are for you. And I was just like, what? She's like, you can't have these? I was like, well, you can't have them. I was like, that's not fair. You're eating them right in front of me. So I grabbed them out of her hand and I threw them in the trash because I was like, if I can't have them, nobody can have them.
Yeah, that might be something else. I don't know if that's just anger.
It was just like, I just had a moment where, and she was, she was just like, I can't believe you did that. I was like, yeah, I'm not really proud about that.
Would you come back later, eat them out the trash?
No, she took them out of the trash because it was right on top, and it was on top of mail. So a bunch of just paper mail. Oh, okay. And it was still in the bag. It was still in the container.
Yeah. You eat trash cookies, that's cool.
I didn't eat those shit. I wasn't allowed to, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
that's
I was a little angry
started, bro.
Stuff like that wasn't a very good situation.
Yeah, I can feel you on that. I think prone to having a little temper, quick to anger at times, especially like when I'm driving, delivering food and shit. I get kind of mad on the road, but just because people don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time now since I'm on the road all the time. People are just waiting there at the light, and they're either on their phone or I don't know what the hell they're. People got problems, man. People do got problems.
Dude,
I have a lot on their mind.
I've never almost gotten into so many accidents than I have on my way home from Plano, from an open mic on Plano Hyenas. Every time I'm on my way home on the highway, it's like it's like 1:30 in the morning on a Friday night. There's always cars just swerving. I'm just like, oh my god, these people are fucking drunk. Yeah, I almost got hit. Probably about 4 times in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, coming down the toll, 161.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Shit, I've been one of those people. Because I live right off the toll. I'm like, fuck it, they're not going to get me here.
Yeah.
And, but I am very cautious of those people. Also, I'm trying to cut back on the drinking, man. That's one of the problems with those mics was that it's so easy to just... It turns into, I'm not looking at it like, I wasn't looking at it professionally. I wasn't looking at it like, all right, what am I getting out of this? And then I would just drink and make it more of a party thing, a night out from basically being at home or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that because I'll have maybe 2 drinks. Yeah. Because I'm not a big drinker. Like right now, I have a beer. I'll probably have that, and I'm probably not gonna have any more drinks after that until I know for sure tonight I'm gonna spend the night here. And even then, I might have like 2 or 3 drinks.
Just come check out a show. Get 2 of them tonight.
You know what? That is true. I should come see it. Yeah. I was gonna take some acid, but I can wait on this.
Yeah. Do you have any plans? No, I was just gonna take some acid.
I was just gonna take some acid and hang out. Cause I
take it and go. Fuck it.
I probably should, but like maybe. Here's the thing: my girlfriend doesn't drive. She's still learning. Still learning. So if she knew how to drive, I would just have her drive home. But she's not really that accustomed to driving, especially when you need to follow Google Maps.
Yeah, especially right now because traffic is the worst because of the fair.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
like it's been true. Like extra bad. And
are you guys in Dallas?
Yeah, the Dallas Hyenas.
Oh my god! You know what? Maybe I can come to the first show.
Yeah, because I'm going from Irving to Dallas, and oh man, I wasn't taking it into account.
What time is the first show? 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, tonight it's at 8.
You think they'll let me watch it since I'm a comic?
Yeah, you just go in there and chill in the back.
Yeah, it's usually what I do.
Yeah, I mean, they know you up there, right?
Yeah. I know Mercedes and the manager, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, Jake. He used to be at the Improv, and Jake's real cool dude, man. Yeah. Yeah. He's been in the comedy scene for a while. I want to say like 10 years, maybe. Mm-hmm. So he's seen a lot of good comics come and go.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a chance to go to the green room, too, and say hi to Nick in person.
Yeah. Those are the people whose brains you got to pick, man. People that have been in the scene for a while. Mm-hmm. Like, I befriended a lot of the door people at Hyenas when I first started, just to ask them questions and kind of get an idea of people who aren't comedians or what it's like to even be in the business. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I try to get as much advice as possible.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of having this podcast is I've had people on here who've been doing it longer than I have, or maybe they're doing it as long as me, but they just like experienced something different than I have, and I haven't had the opportunity to yet. And I'm constantly getting tips and type of situations. Like I didn't know Randy's wife didn't like certain words, and I found out she doesn't, and now I don't want to do those words when she's in the open mic area.
What words?
Cunt and. Oh man, what's the other word? Somebody.
That one should kind of just be one of the ones you probably shouldn't do in general. If you're trying to get to a hosting spot, you got to be clean.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes out. Yeah. I mean, not like but I don't use it like I'm calling somebody a cunt. But it'll be like I think I've said it before when I've said I was talking about my girlfriend, and I was saying it as her.
Okay. So I kind of get what you're saying. Cuntingly, I guess.
Cuntingly, yeah.
As an adverb and shit.
Plus, I kind of I know I need to change my view on the word, but I kind of see it how the Europeans see it. How they use it. They use it to describe a person being like, oh, he's a good cunt.
Really?
He's a good guy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like dude. Sometimes we use dude.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's a good dude, or...
Cunt's never really been a word that I even use just in general.
No?
I never really hear it too often. I remember the first time I ever heard the word cunt. I was like 10 or 11, and I was at AutoZone with my uncle. Uh-huh. And we're sitting in the truck, and it's big ass truck pulls up, and there's all these I would say redneck looking people, and there's this woman in the back who had a jean skirt. Yeah. And she got out the back, lifted her leg above the tailgate, and put her leg on the step, and then my cousin goes, my uncle goes, damn, did you get a load of the cunt on that one? And I was like, what? And that's kind of just always stuck with me, because I never heard that word until that point. You know what I'm saying?
Did that kind of scar you a little bit? Like it's too...
Man, nah, not really.
No?
I mean, I guess if it stuck with me, it made some sort of impression for sure.
Yeah. Because I guess so, because I can't remember the first time I heard the word fuck.
Yeah, those
I don't even remember the first time I heard the word cunt either.
Cunt was one of those specific ones, just because I didn't ever. People don't really normally use that in regular language, or not that I know of at least. I know I've heard it comedy wise. Some people use it.
Yeah. See, I think that's the part of the backfire, kind of like a backfire part of me listening to Bill Burr's podcast all the time.
Yeah.
He uses it so regularly.
Yeah, I would say it's more of like a white word right there.
He uses it
white
so
people
regularly,
word,
so I kind of hear it all the time to me.
Yeah.
So.
It's a funny
and
word.
sometimes I'll say it at the grocery store, and Lana would just be like, "What?" She's like, "Hey." It's like, "What?" It's like, "Well, I'm the fucking cunt just left the shit right here."
Yeah, I guess if you can use it over and over, it becomes like normal.
It's a little normalized for me.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. That and, like, faggot. I used to say faggot a lot when I was a kid. That was like one of our words when we all hung out. That and Jew, for some reason.
Jew. Yeah. I guess jokes at the Jew's expense, I don't know, was a popular thing for people to do.
Well, when I was growing up, I grew up in Iowa. And we had a certain group of, pothead friends. And I don't know how it started, but, like, some of our friends would, like, say, they'd be like, instead of saying, like, oh, don't be a dick, they'd be like, don't be a Jew about it, man, just...
Well, when I hear people say it like that, it's usually something towards, like, not spending money or some shit like that, you know what I mean? Like...
No, it's kind of like we didn't use it.
Y'all use it as a
derogatory term,
as just straight up everything.
Yeah,
an umbrella term.
You're like, you fucking Jew.
God damn.
like. We're pretty racist.
In Iowa.
Yeah, I guess so. Not really towards black people, because we had black friends that we hung out, and we weren't the group where we drop N-bombs,
Yeah, were y'all? Did you have Jewish friends or anybody you knew was Jewish up there?
I wouldn't know. Actually, I don't recall having Jewish friends. I mean, I'm sure there were some in high school. I just didn't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. It's not that common of a thing down here either. I think I had. Yeah. It wasn't until I got to comedy where I met like a few people in the scene that were Jewish.
Yeah.
It was more of like a New York thing, I think, or like just.
Being in comedy here, I know Jewish people because of comedy. But if it wasn't for that, a lot of Latino.
Well, a lot of my favorite comedians were Jewish, so I knew of Jewish stuff because they would always joke about it, and I don't know. To me, the Jewish people are usually white, so kind of like assume everybody is just not brown, pretty much, because I was brown as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I just looked at people that weren't, that didn't look like me, and I categorize them like either black, white, Asian, whatever. You know.
Yeah. I didn't know how, under backhanded racism they were up north, because everybody was these people are still kind of racial in certain areas. No matter where you go, people are still somewhat racial, but they're more like backhanded, nice, and then here, people are more racial up front. Like over there, like they'd be nice, they treat me nice and everything, but then like. They'd be a little racist out, behind my back. Yeah.
I probably get that a lot here too. I would assume. I don't know.
People are just more upfront about it here. I remember one time I was at a cafe, and the waitress that was serving me, she was talking to this guy at the bar, and the guy was all like, "Yeah, he was like boasting. I think that's the right word. About being not a white supremacist, but what's the other one?
White nationalist.
No,
Patriot.
It's kind of in the same. It's in the same word, but like if I had a thesaurus, I know.
Yeah. See.
But he was like talking about that, and the waitress was all like, "Oh wow," and she was like all into it, like, "Yeah, that's cool, I'm glad." And then she came back and she would serve me stuff, and I'd be like. Like you.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
I don't know if I trust that food after that, man.
No, yeah, we never went back there again.
Yeah.
It was that cafe right there in by the ballpark area. There's a cafe up there.
Well, there's racists out there. You know, there's there's actual white supremacists out there, and they believe a certain ideology, and maybe they might not be like blatantly racist anymore, like burning crosses and shit, but they have their beliefs, and they think that minorities are out to take over. Pretty much, they're so scared to be a minority. And
do you remember when those guys were doing was it Boston, or they were doing that white supremacy march, and they all had the tiki torches?
Oh yeah,
they're all in the news and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you remember people were scared about buying tiki torches?
White people.
Yeah,
sure.
They didn't want to affiliate themselves with us. Nobody was buying. They weren't buying any tiki torches. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's so silly.
Signature.
It's so silly that just because they have it, what are you gonna stop buying polo shirts because they all had polo shirts on?
Yeah, that's true too. But they were marching with tiki torches, man. That shit was. I never understood that, other than just it being kind of racist and them feeling like, I guess that everybody was against them. I don't know, man. I try not to think.
I kind of feel like fire is like a big thing for white supremacists. Like they just need
burning something.
Yeah, they need some sort of fire. Like we can't carry torches like we used to. Let's carry.
No, yeah, they're a bunch of insecure fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah,
they have to have something elaborate. I guess I don't care. I don't care for any of those people.
No, I don't have much.
I can't care for people who don't care for me at all. So fuck those guys. Hell, Trump.
Have you had any issues with doing comedy with somebody not agreeing with what you're saying because of the race you are?
Not necessarily. I did do a show in Emory, a little town, a couple hours from Dallas, and somebody yelled "Build the wall" at me when I was on stage, and or I was getting off stage, and that was one of the closest things. And I made a joke out of it.
Yeah.
So I made this is now my closer. So I turned it into something, but it really did kind of stick with me because I'm like, damn, this dude, seriously?
Yeah, well, I mean, but that just shows what kind of character he has, because he doesn't wait for you to finish to say something so blatant like that.
Yeah.
He didn't have the balls to say it when you're up there doing your thing.
I know, man, because if not, I'd have been like... But also, it was a huge place, and they yelled it from the very back, and I walked back there after the show, and nobody wanted to say nothing to me, so... Fuck them.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're able to turn it into a bit, though. That's
Yeah, it actually bothered me a lot, man, because I was thinking about it a lot, and I was like, damn, is the times really changing? As far as, are these white supremacists or these people really believe that do these people have the courage now to come out and show their racism? Because I never really encountered anything too crazy because I'm obviously not white, you know what I'm saying? Nobody will say some racist shit around me because they'll probably be like, oh yeah, this dude, he's not cool with that, or you know what I'm saying, like white people at least, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? If some white people were making jokes, racist jokes to you, then they probably think that you are racist, on that side, because there's a lot of Mexicans that are racist, you know, and they won't defend either other races that are being made fun of or anything like that, and I tried to make sure I'm not around that, because I don't like those, I'm not a fan of that at all. But that's just me personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. If I was hanging out with some Hispanics and Mexicans or whatever, and they started talking about another race, I'd be like, hey, that's not cool. I had to do that actually at work, and it's not the same, but to me it kind of falls under the same line. Where I had a coworker who was talking about gay people, and he was like, gay people are gonna go to hell, and whatever, and I was just like, hey, I was like, that's not cool to say that. I was like, why do you believe that? He's like, what's in the book? I was like, okay, yeah, but they're people. Yeah. Just like you and I. I was like, I don't think it's up to you or the book to say they're condemned to hell, because I personally don't. Yeah, I personally don't believe in hell. So I'm not very religious. So, but when somebody believes in some place so bad, why would you want people, because of their sexuality, to go to a place that you believe is so bad? So I questioned him about him, and he was just like, well, I mean, that's just how it is. that's pretty fucked up, dude. I was like, I told him that I was like, it's pretty fucked up, and because I've had the same argument with people who have like who have like this idea of like the Muslim community. Mm-hmm. Like they're like, fuck those people. Like, hey, they're just people too. Yeah. Like they have their beliefs, but then you got the ones that take it overboard. And just like Christianity at one point took it overboard, and they were doing the worst things to other people who didn't believe in their beliefs. So like that still happens now, but that doesn't mean all of Muslim people are evil or should be shunned on because of what they believe.
Yeah, and that's like a form of racism in itself when they try to group everybody, demonize everybody. That's like when Trump went out and said the Mexicans are rapists and they're coming over here stealing people's jobs and stuff. People grouped us all together because you're not going to be able to tell the difference between us. That's why literally people were impressionable just in general, right? So when you got the president of the United States saying this shit, you know what I'm saying? And there's people like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe he's right. And that's why you had the dude from fucking Allen drive all the way to El Paso and start fucking shooting people inside Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he went in there with the intention of shooting Mexicans or illegal Mexicans, whatever. But how are you gonna go in there and know who's illegal and who's not illegal? So he just started fucking shooting everybody. It's a tragic thing,
Yeah,
it all stems from that stuff and people spitting that hate.
One thing I've always pointed out, like you said, Trump, summed them all up to be Mexicans, where like a big portion, or like where he was saying the gang members, like he was saying the MS-13.
No, yeah, I agree.
But like not once did he say MS-13s are El Salvador people from El Salvador. Like those aren't Mexicans. I mean, people. So when you say these gang members from Mexico, and then you say, these gang members, the MS-13s coming in from Mexico. And you say they're Mexicans, like technically, well, they're not Mexicans. First of all, at least say, hey, the Salvadorian gang members are coming through Mexico, and then like all the people, those caravans or whatever, a lot of them weren't even Mexican caravans. There were people coming in from south of Mexico.
A lot of South American.
but he's putting the blame on all Mexico, like all the Mexicans build a wall around Mexico. Like, well. Why don't you say it's not just the Mexicans that are coming in? And from what I think from what I've heard, like a lot of Mexicans actually have gone back to Mexico, and they're not coming really back over here. But like we have a bunch of other countries coming through, but like actual Mexicans are like have I've heard before too. This guy who builds houses in the Texas in this region. Where he said the houses they're producing is way slower because a lot of the workers were Mexican and they've all moved back to Mexico and they didn't come back, so he's like really low on employees.
Really? Probably scared of deportation or getting held up in one of those camps.
And they probably just figured, I
made my money.
I made my money. I haven't made I haven't made as much as they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they're like, it's better than just staying over here.
Yeah, that's kind of what my family is, because I got a lot of strong ties in Mexico still. A lot of my uncles and stuff live down there. My mom was born in Mexico, so I was in Mexico like every summer,
Yeah.
Or twice a year, I'd spend a lot of time in Mexico. And I'd have family would come over here, stay with us, and then they'd go work construction or do some odd jobs, make some money, real money, and go back and stay down there.
I have a tia.
Ranch and all that.
I have one of my tias. She lives right in Matamoros.
Right on the border.
And she, she'll come over here, work for like a couple of months, and then go back and just take the extra money.
Yeah, dollar goes a little farther in Mexico, for sure.
And then my cousins, her sons, they live over here, and they'll work a couple jobs and then go spend a month over there with her. My grandpa. He recently passed away, but his whole side of the family, they're all over there. They've actually helped build a town in Mexico over there. So they're the Pedrazas, the Pedrazas, I should say, not Pedrazas, all white rocks. The Pedrazas, they're like one side of the town that's separated by like I think it's a river, and then there's another family that's the other side of town. So it's actually like. The one town just separated, which is really weird because apparently they don't like each other.
Yeah, Mexico has its own issues in general, man. Yeah. There's like what's happening a lot in our country now is just the money. Really, it's like people have money, some people don't have money, you know, and that's always kind of been the case in Mexico, where like all the rich and then everybody else is pretty much poor, you know. So a lot of class division and stuff. That's why a lot of those people come over here. You know?
Do you ever feel like moving to LA for your comedy?
Yeah, I do want to move to LA. I was actually going to move to LA a couple of years ago, and my brother had got real sick, and I kind of just stuck around, man, and he's getting better, and like he has a kidney disease, and
is he on dialysis?
He's on dialysis, yeah.
It's hard, man. I used to work at the hospital, and I was friends with one of the dialysis nurses.
Yeah.
So whenever she needed help, I'd come help her out, and a lot of our patients were dialysis patients. So
yeah, it's a tough thing. Got to get up every day, like at 5 a.m. and go do. He's getting better though. You know, he's had some surgeries. He's lost like 100 and like I don't know how much. He's like under 200 pounds now, but he was like 320 when he went into hospital. You know, and he's getting all the treatment. It's been a couple years now, so we're hoping by next year he'll get his kidney. So
okay. And is he active? Like, is he able to stay active?
Yeah, he's able to be active. He's only like 28, 29, something like that.
He's young.
Yeah, he's young. That's why it was so... And it sucked, too, because I was doing a show in Houston, and they called me. Like, this is right before I even got to do the show. I was about to go up. They're like, hey, you know, your brother, whatever, he had like they thought he had a heart attack or something happened to him, and they rushed him to the hospital, so... Yeah, I'm kind of freaking out, and then
you got to go up and
I went up on stage. And
how'd that go?
It went really good, man. Yeah.
Okay.
But because you're not thinking about anything when you're on stage. Even something that serious, I still was able to keep it off my mind because I had to focus. And it was a sold-out show in Houston at the Joke Joint. It was a comedy club down there. And I was still able to perform. But once I got back off stage, it was right back to worrying about it. But, man, it's been a couple years now. But I was going to move that summer. I had planned on like... I was living with my girl, and our lease was about to be up. We're like, man, fuck it, let's just go. Let's just go to LA, and I ended up deciding to just stick around. But I still kind of want to go. You know, I'm hoping maybe next year.
Yeah, but that's a very good reason to stick around because you never know. You never know what could have happened to your brother, and if he would have moved, then he would have like passed away, like.
Of something real serious on. And just it's just more of a family support thing because I mean he's my little brother, we're pretty close, and that's pretty much all it is the family support. And now that I know he's doing better and everything, I feel a little bit better because you know sometimes we hold that stuff that we don't even really talk about. I think it's the first time I really ever talked about it because before when I would talk about it, it was an emotional thing, and you're like, oh damn man, like I don't even want to think about that stuff because he was like in a coma for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, was this? It could be one of those devastating blows type thing, you know what I mean?
That's scary.
Like where somebody close to you like that. But he's getting better, man, and I'm happy for him. He looks good. He looks way thinner than me now, and bastard. You know what I'm saying? I'm all like, God damn. I need to lose a kidney, but for real.
I need a little kidney. Then I'll take my diet. I'll take my diet more serious.
He had got weight loss surgery. He had to do all that stuff. He just got surgery a couple weeks ago.
So he got that after?
After. Well, in order for him to get on the transplant list, he had to lose a whole bunch of weight. And so the insurance, they paid for the weight loss surgery. And then a couple weeks ago, he had skin removal in order for them to operate and stuff.
Okay.
But aside from that, or whatever, I do want to move to LA. When I work with Paul Rodriguez, he was telling me, he's like, you need to move to LA now. He's like, you got to go. He's like, he was telling me my stuff sounds crisp, it's getting better. You need to go out there, and because there's more opportunity out there. But at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe not necessarily like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can blow up off the internet, shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I've been trying to, put more content out there and put some videos of me doing stand up, and you never know, somebody could see it, or if they just happen to see me and then they go to my page and they see me, post some videos and stuff. So that's the goal, at least, But I'm still in the process, always just trying to write material, keep coming up with new stuff. And that's the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do want to move to LA eventually, but I was told to wait until I become an MC, like get some MC practice. So I'm gonna try. That's my next goal, is to become an MC for Hyenas.
Yeah.
So I'm doing as many shows as I can when it comes to like Hyenas. I go to every Hyenas open mic. I try not to miss one of those. I'm hosting for them. You know, I put myself down. They want me to host, so I can get that hosting experience.
That's good, man. That's good.
And then I think I'm gonna see if Butch will let me host for one of his showcases, like either first or second block. Doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
So I can just get that. Let him know that I'm really have that desire to be the MC spot. Because that's what the MC is, right? The host.
Yeah, you gotta have a good 10-15 minutes. That's what you do. It's gotta be clean too. Not like squeaky clean, but
just not too many cuss words in it.
Yeah, you just gotta come out and have good energy,
I think
good vibes.
I think most of my sets don't involve swearing.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah, I don't really swear too much. They're kind of dirty, but like it all depends on the words I choose to use. Like I can still do the same set without with something like a not so dirty word, and it'd still be like it'd be clean. It's just like let me give you an example. I have a bit where my girlfriend and I were having sex, and she has an allergic reaction to her pussy because of the soap. Because I changed body soaps and I used Dial. And apparently she's allergic to Dial. And when I was having sex with her, her pussy had a reaction to it. But if I switch the words, if I just say her, I usually say like her vagina, like her vagina got an allergic reaction. So it doesn't sound so dirty, but like and I only have to say it like once or twice. I think I only say it like once. Just say that her vagina had a little allergic reaction, and then like, and then I just talk about how like it kind of swelled up, and I like to say it looked like Mike Tyson just bent down and threw an uppercut.
Yeah.
She just went bam.
And just punched her right in the cunt.
Punched her right. I like to say cooter. Like punched her right in the cooter.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's not too dirty, but because the words I say are kind of silly.
Yeah. Definitely can't. Not that you definitely can, but your chances probably go down if you say pussy on like, especially from the MC. If what you want to do is be an MC for Hyenas, yeah, you got to be kind of clean. Maybe steer a little away from. Definitely don't do crowd work from the host spot. You know what I'm saying? Try to keep it material based. And doing that MC spot is more of just kind of a learning experience. Or at least that's what it was for me. You know, because you get to work with features, headliners, and if you're hosting for Hyenas, you get to do regular shows. You know, like more regularly. I mean, like you get booked at least 6 times out of the year. So it's not necessarily about the jokes and about that. It's more of the getting the experience and learning from other comics, and even then you work with people and then they might book or something outside of Hyenas, and that's kind of how I developed the network of people that I work with all through Hyenas pretty much. People I've met and all that, and some headliners are really nice. If you're nice, if you keep everything professional, people are going to want to work with you, because in the end this is a profession and people want to take this seriously, and if they don't, then they're not doing it right, or at least that's how I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes headliners will be like, "Hey man, have you tried doing this, or hey, you doing that?" And little shit like that goes a long way, man. There's still little things that people told me when I started, you know. But yeah, you'll be all right, man.
That's one thing I've noticed. I don't get too much on it. I wish I would. I wish I would like get more. Like more feedback from the people I do comedy with, to like any kind of improvement that I can do. Like people tell me, I used to do this a lot. They were like, I used to mess with the chord, and people would be like, "Hey, you mess with the chord a lot," and I'm like, "Okay," so I stopped doing that. But they said I was fidgety. Well, I kind of like walk. I kind of pace around the stage depending on where I want to go. And I moved the cord because I remember I would, if I wasn't careful, I would step on the cord. But like I stopped doing that, so I don't move as much. But like they told me I to quit doing that, so I stopped doing that. But like when it comes to like my actual comedy, I don't get that much feedback, and I kind of wish I would get a little bit more feedback. Like I mean,
you can ask somebody to watch you that's that you trust, or somebody who's been doing it a while, or that they might be able to. If you want like serious, honest feedback, and that's what you want, and then some people were out there and they'll do it and they'll tell you everything, but you can't take all that stuff serious. I think it's more of the mechanics part of it, like the lasso thing with the mic, with the cord, and just taking out the mic stand, moving it out of the way, making little things like that make a big difference, man, and make you look more professional and just look like you know what you're doing, type thing.
Yeah, I started doing that a while ago too. The moving the mic out of the way, because I didn't know that was a professional-ish thing to do. Because I see other comics, they kind of like they'll use the mic and kind of just like talk on it, and then they'll kind of put their hand on it, or whatever.
Yeah, you can do anything you want. Just if you pull it out, you leave it there, and you're just standing behind it the entire time. I mean, if you could pull it off, whatever, that's cool. But I just think little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The stool. It's all use the whole stage to your advantage. There ain't much on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there isn't much. That's why I like to. That's why I like to put it off to the side, because if it's out of the way, I have so much more room to do whatever I want. Exactly. And if I want to be silly, like one time I was at improv and I was just like, man, sometimes I just want to give it all up and just do heroin. And I started tying the mic around my arm as the rope, and I was like, bah! I just laid back, fell down on the stage. And
shit!
I was just like, it feels great. Like, why can't we just do that? Like, why is heroin so shunned upon?
So you get pretty physical?
Sometimes, yeah. I wish, like, in my eyes, when I do a bit, or in my mind when I do a bit, I'm very animated. But when I get on stage, I'm not as animated as I would like to be. And I feel like part of it's because of my health. And also, like, I have a hard time just letting go. Like, I know I can be a real silly guy on stage if I want to, but, like, there's something in me that when I get on there, like, I get how do you say, where you kind of lock up a little bit?
I know what you mean. I'm barely getting to a point where I can feel like I can start opening up. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I don't move around very much at all. I stretch a shitload before. Like, I'm always moving around. It's like, I look like I'm about to fucking run a race, and I get up there and I'm just right here the whole fucking time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just because eventually I want to move around, do stuff. And, of course, being heavy, you know what I'm saying, being a little on the fatter side, I can't do. Not everybody can be Chris Farley out there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, if only we could, though, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it.
Technically,
I don't know how he did it, man.
I just don't want to break the stage either. If I can hit the ground, and then plywood's my break, dude, for real.
Did you ever hear about Ralphie May? How he fell through he fell through on stage one time. I forget what it was that.
Nah, but I can believe it. For sure.
But he was doing a bit. He was on stage and he said he stepped somewhere and his foot went through the stage.
Oh shit! Have you seen? I seen a video. It was either him on Kimmel or something where he was walking out and he fell like on live TV. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen that. I have to look it up.
Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
It sucked because he's such a big guy, but like, I think as soon as he got up, he was like, "That's still the funniest shit that's ever happened on this show." Like he already had something in his head to. That's embarrassing, man. You know, it's a big dude.
I was sad that he died. Him and I remember I got into this comic. His name was I think it was Chris Panetti. No, John Panetti. John Panetti.
That name sounds.
Yeah. I got into him, and then I googled him, and I realized he died back in like 2014.
Is he from Iowa?
I don't know.
Because I was in Tulsa, and I was working with a comic from Iowa, and he used to tour with that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the Panetti guy. It's a heavyset guy, right?
Yeah.
He used to tour with him, and
he was huge, and then he lost a lot of weight. But I think by then
he had passed away.
Yeah, his heart had already had too much, and he He passed away like 2014 or 13 or 14.
Yeah, if you're big in this thing, man, you gotta be real careful on the amount of stuff you do because it's so easy to drink every night. Shit, then you get into drugs and ain't no telling what you're doing. Make your heart work extra hard and shit.
Fucking
drop dead.
What's his name? He's with Rogan. He's always on Rogan podcast.
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz. Now he was big and he's losing weight, but that guy, he's something else, man. He's still going strong. Oh, yeah, he's still pretty big. But he's killing it, man. That guy just keeps going. Nothing's gonna stop that guy.
He just seems like a tough motherfucker anyways. No, he's hilarious too. He is. But he's also like a vet too that's been doing like 20-something years, you know what I mean? I think it just takes a long time, man. Like a long time. Yeah. Like I said, Nick last night was stressing like the 15-year thing. Like it takes 15 years before you see anything really.
Yeah, and, he did that on the podcast.
He
stressed that a lot. Like,
but it's true though. I got into it knowing that. I told myself, I was like, man, I'm gonna give myself 10 years, and if this isn't going where I want it to go, I'm gonna either get out, you know.
Yeah, I hear some people say 10 years. Like, but like at 10 years, if like you're not at like, let's just say, let's use college level. If you're at 10 years, you're not like at a fucking, 4-year college degree, then maybe you should rethink what you want to do with your life. Like, but Nick said 15 years, and he's 13 years into it. So I feel like it is between 10 and 15.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
People say between 10 and 15.
And you probably don't really get your actual voice probably till about 10 years.
Unless you're fucking Brendan Schaub, who's fucking blown up and after 2 years of doing comedy.
Yeah.
He's like an anomaly, man. That dude's fucking doing arenas already. He's only been doing comedy maybe 3 years now.
But he's a UFC dude, right?
He started off as a UFC fighter, but he's fucking hilarious. I haven't seen any of his bits. I haven't had a chance to see him. He's supposed to have a special coming out soon.
Yeah, but I think that also is different as far as
when you have like a following already.
Because to me, stand-up is a very personal thing. Like that insecurity of your comedy or am I getting better? It should always be a personal growth. And some people will be famous and be touring and doing all that, but them themselves, as long as they know that they're not that great yet, you can't let that shit go to your head. You got to still be funny. You still got to be really good at the actual craft, you know. And I think that there's no rushing that. There's no shortcut to that. You know what I mean? Like I said, 2 years in, he's selling out arenas, and technically that's what we all want, right? But if you're not that comedian that you want to be, then you're a failure, if anything. Now, I'm not saying he's a failure. I'm just saying, like, I'm sure he still knows that he needs to get better. Because he comes from a fighting background anyways. He understands that he had to be good to fight, and it's the same thing with stand-up.
Yeah, you know? I've heard, like, that's what happens when you have, like, a fighter mentality where you're constantly training to be badass. Yeah. And you use that same mentality into comedy. Yeah. Plus, not only that, but like he's got all the time. He's got the money to
It's also true.
He's got the money where he doesn't have to worry about income to where he can focus all on comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's in funny situations all the time.
Sometimes that makes a lot of difference. Just having the opportunity to do it.
Do you ever feel like you put yourself in situations that you normally wouldn't put yourself in just to see what's gonna happen, and then like you might make something funny out of it?
Like on stage?
No, like in life.
Not necessarily. Like, I'll do stuff like, I still have to live life outside of comedy, and I think it's important to have that. Like, my girl, like, when I hang out with her and I go do stuff with her friends, and, like, if I don't have a show, like in the last couple months, I've been on the road, right, probably 6 weekends out of the 2 months, right? So on the weekends I'm not doing comedy, I need to make sure I'm either spending time with family or I spend time with her and stuff like that. And it's when I'm not doing comedy is when I start to get inspiration and stuff. Like, and it's not that I'm necessarily putting myself in the situation, I'm like, oh, something funny will come out of this. I just go live life, and the comedian in me will naturally try to think of something. Like, I went to a gender reveal party. You ever been to one of those? You ever heard of those?
I've heard of them, yes.
Of those,
I hear
right?
how they go crazy about it, but I've never been to one. But
I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, it's not that I just don't care. I'm like,
why would you care?
Yeah, I don't care. But I had to be there because it's, friends and all that, and just being in that atmosphere, so away from comedy, I'm still in the comedy mindset. So I'll try to find something funny in what's happening, because just watching people, you learn so much about just life and how people react to stuff.
That's such a white person thing to do.
Yeah, it's
like a white people thing to do.
What, the gender reveal?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been to a few that are Mexicans, and this is the particular one I went to was the black people, but they had this thing where it was like we were gonna do this gender reveal, so they had these 2 jars. And they're like, all right, we're going to write names and stuff on it. Like, y'all give us names and they're going to play games. Or kind of like a baby shower or something. But it was guys and girls.
Yeah, pretty much.
So everybody's like reading names, and I was just putting stupid names on there. Just because I was like, I'm just trying to make this entertaining for me. In the end, you know, because I'm not, I guess maybe that's selfish on my part, I guess. I don't fucking know.
No,
I should be there to be happy for these people. Yeah, I should be there and be happy for these people, but I'm just like, oh man, I'm fucking bored. Like,
No, it's boring, man. Come on. Yeah, it's stuff like that you do. What did your woman bring you into it? Did she drag you into it, or was it one of your friends?
Yeah, it was with her. It was a friend of hers. It was a friend of hers, and we had to go to it. It's just like, no, you said you're gonna go, and I'm like,
if you were single and one of your guy friends asked you to come to this thing, you'd be like, fuck that. Like,
unless it's a relative.
You gotta do it because your wife is doing it.
Exactly.
Don't drag me into this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like how like. A lot of people believe baby showers are supposed to be for women. Women go to the baby shower. Yeah. But like in the Hispanic culture, it's a whole family involved in the baby showers. It's like,
it's a party.
Insane. Sometimes, yeah. But that's the fun thing about it. Like, I've been to a baby shower with like a black friend of mine baby shower. Nobody was drinking. They're just hanging out. Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of wild.
Drinking's a very Mexican thing, I think, that we do with everything.
With everything.
Like, for real.
Birthday parties, baby showers.
You don't have any more Modelos, do you?
Oh, yeah, dude. You want to?
Yeah, man. I'll take one, bro.
Let me go grab you one.
Speaking of.
I'll go grab you one. You want it dressed or regular?
Nah, just regular is cool.
Out the bottle?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Been drinking
like
liquor the last night. I appreciate that.
Baby showers, not just baby showers, but like weddings. But you know, a lot of people drink at weddings.
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, I'm getting married in May. You know? What?
You are?
Yeah, I've been with her going on 4 years. You know what I'm saying? She actually saw me at a comedy show. She saw me at Hyenas in Dallas, and then.
Oh, your first groupie.
It was funny because like
you ever tell her that, like, baby, you're a groupie.
Well, she saw me at the and this is like still early on. Like, I was only like a year or two in, and she saw me at a showcase I was doing at Hyenas, and then time passed like 4 or 5 months, and then I was online on OkCupid, and she was on OkCupid, and she saw my picture on there, and she sent me a message. She's like, "Hey, I saw you at the show. I thought you were funny, and I think you're cute or whatever." And immediately I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm about to smash!" Like right away. Like, I just assumed, I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And then I ended up turning into me having to get to know her and shit type thing. And in the process, eventually smashed. But
you had to.
And then I was hooked.
She caught you, man.
She got me.
She got you.
She sank her claws in me.
Verified to her. That's cool, man. Yeah, man, you never know when you're gonna meet somebody and really like them.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. She supports me, and I try to support her too at the same time.
Cool, man. That's good.
Yeah.
What does she do?
She's a fashion designer.
Oh.
Yeah. So, cause she wanted to go to LA too, because in fashion, there's really only 2 places you can go, either New York or LA. And so we were both on that same type of thing. Like, if she got a job in New York, I'm down to go to New York too. You know.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to LA just because of the weather.
Yeah, me too.
New York is just something about New York. It just has this.
They're both really great spots for comedy and apparently fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Well, to see, you know what I mean.
It's good to know that like you're with somebody who wants to live their dream too, like their passion.
Yeah, we can bump heads a lot though, because we both are about our own thing that we're doing, but we make it work. You know.
But I feel like you guys understand each other more because of that. Because, like, let's just say you were working like a 9-to-5 job, and you're like, oh, I'm a manager here, but it's not really your passion, but you're doing it just because you want to make the money, and it'd be hard for you to empathize with her if she was trying to live her passion. But you know, as being a comic, you know, you have your passion, and you know how she feels exactly about her thing that she wants to do. So you guys have like
it really does help us look at the same perspective in a way. We support each other, but there's also not like a lot of money in what we both do. Not yet, at least, you know. I mean, I didn't get into comedy for the money necessarily, because what I was drawn to about comedy was just, I don't know, it's just something about it. The not thinking, the being able to, not thinking while on stage, that's a good feeling. And the whole just trying to create something, like I'm literally getting paid to do stuff that I made up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or that came from my mind.
You're getting paid to talk.
Yeah, getting paid to talk.
Paid to talk.
Yeah. Like this weekend right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing 5 shows, and it's what I'll make in a week working a regular job or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I appreciate that stuff, man, and it helps me appreciate all the other little shows, shitty shows and stuff too. So
yeah.
Appreciate everything, man. Everything should always be a learning experience, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on the marriage, though.
Oh yeah, man.
It took you long enough.
I know.
How many shows did you have to do just to save the money for an engagement ring?
Oh fuck, dude! I sold my car literally.
Yeah.
I have a joke I think about. Yeah, I say a joke about selling my car by an engagement ring. I sold my car. I used to have this old Marquise. Grand Marquise.
Grand Marquise, yeah.
Yeah, that was my baby, man. My slab. But it ended up working out. I got the ring, and she was about to leave me, so I was like, marry me.
Oh no!
I was like, marry me.
Look, well,
we're going on 2 years engaged.
When it comes down to it, you know, like the Grand Marquise probably was a very nice thing to have, but you gotta remember it's just possessions.
Yeah.
And those come and go, and if you continue with your career, you probably have a better car when you finally get up there.
Yeah.
And you're still pretty young, right? What are you, early 30s? Mid-30s?
Yeah, I'm 30.
30? See?
Yeah,
man.
So
you got plenty of time to get one of those Grand Marquis.
Oh man, yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna be like Jay Leno when you're by the time you're his age with a fucking garage full of cars.
We'll see, man. Shit. All I can focus on is just trying to be funny. Get my comedy down right. That's pretty much it, writing. Yeah. Whether it's in my head all the time, you know, thinking of something, how am I going to reword this and make it sound good on stage? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got into comedy not for the money either, or to become famous. It's just I like the I like the aspect of making people laugh, and then also I like the adrenaline rush that I get after coming off stage. I'm always like all hyped up. I guess I'm some kind of I have some sort of a thrill junkie.
It's better than drugs. That feeling of killing on stage.
Yeah, way better than drugs.
Yeah, that's something that I wish you could package and sell, because that shit would fucking crack, dog. Like for real, like I love that feeling. But what sucks is the feeling of not doing that or knowing that you did bad on stage. That's a hard low right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that killing feeling, man, there is nothing else like it.
Yeah, that feeling, and also like knowing that I want, you know, I have as much control as I want. You know, knowing that I can.
Yeah.
I go up there with, and I can talk about whatever I want, no limitations. You know, certain things I don't want to say because I can offend people. But that still means I can come up with whatever kind of premises I want, whatever's on my mind. There's a certain word for it, but I always forget. I think it's like having full... I forget the word. Anyway, but like just knowing that I can go up there and and just do what I want. That's amazing.
I wish I would have looked at things more like that, because I feel like I care too much about making sure that I look good on stage, or that I was representing the club in the right way. I got in this little construct of being a club comic and making sure that all my material was going to be good for club audiences and stuff. And I feel like it almost pigeonholes you into just being that type of comic. Do you know what I'm saying? As opposed to me being able to just create anything that I want to say, or say whatever I want. It's just like when you say you want to MC for Hyenas, right? But you know that you can't be real dirty, or you know you can't talk about certain things and all that. So I got into that mentality of, okay, that's all I want to do. But when I did it and I finally got through it, I'm like, damn, I'm only thinking in that mindset of like, how can I keep going up to this thing that I'm doing as opposed to just freely thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It wasn't until a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half, where I started to be like, but that's also because I got bumped up to feature. When you start to feature in the middle spot, you can talk about different shit. You can probably cuss more. You can do crowd work if you want. And I was able to think more like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try not to get into that mindset where all you focus on is trying to get up to this club when you could just say anything you want. There's no method to anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? You could be famous off of doing your own shows and you know what I'm saying? Like the DIY shows.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even have to be that old traditional way anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But there's benefits to it. Like I said, meeting other comics and working with people that have been on the road for years. Like, there's a lot of really good headliners that come through Hyenas. People have been doing it 20, 30 years. And sometimes they might be a little outdated and saying some shit that you're like, oh, damn, like, you can tell you're from the from the 80s and early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
yeah, like,
it doesn't mean those people don't have no wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So,
Screech, for instance.
Yeah, like Screech.
From what I hear, he's been doing pretty much the same stuff for a while now.
Yeah, I never worked with him, but I've seen him on stage before. But yeah, you get a lot of I mean, so many comedians, dude.
There's a lot.
So many different types of comics. But my favorites are a lot of these younger guys that are coming up, and they're just being able to kind of just don't feel they're in that construct where they can just talk about whatever, say what they want, and that's a cool feeling. I'm finally starting to feel like I can start doing that also, you know. And that's how you get better, because like it is a long process, you know.
So as a feature, do you feel like you can be more yourself than when you were as an MC or the host?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you noticed any kind of limitations?
Not yet. I do still try not to do so much crowd work, because when you are working a club like that, the show is still about the headliner. You know, I don't want to. Like, if the headliner asks me, hey, man, can you not do some of the jokes like these jokes about that because I got stuff like that, I'm going to be like, all right, you know. But it's still, that still makes it feel like a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
have you run into any problems with, like, the PC culture that's going on right now?
Like saying stuff or whatever?
Yeah, like people being offended when you're on stage.
Yeah, kinda. I guess people either they're not reacting to some of the stuff I say, but I disguise everything in a joke form. Like, I won't say anything offensive unless I really think it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just out there spouting shit. Like, that's not something I do. I gotta make sure. Just like when, like you said about you tell stories, right? Well, it still has to be funny. I think it still has to be. Like, people can tell stories with jokes, but it's better to tell a story with your jokes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's how real comedy should be, in my opinion. Like, that's how I'm trying to be. I'm trying to make sure that it's fucking funny. Like, it has to be funny overall. I'm like, yeah, it can be interesting and all that, but me personally, I want it to be funny. Like, it has to be. If I'm not getting those laughs, I'm not thriving in any way. You know what I mean? And there's people out there that just say shit just to piss people off, like the PC, or what they consider the PC people or whatever. But, like, I mean, do you go out saying stuff to intentionally make these people mad?
No, I don't say stuff to intentionally get people mad. I do, like, I have a Trump bit, but I don't really discuss his policies, but I discuss how wacky of a situation it is to have him as president. So I really don't cross that line of being offensive towards people who support Trump or towards people who don't want him as president.
Yeah.
And like I talk about the building a wall aspect, but like I don't really say like how he shouldn't do it or how it's fucked up that he's doing it. I stay away from that. And but like I try not to get on either side, but I just try to point out how it's a funny situation, or like try to make a funny situation.
Yeah,
of
the fact
that
he's president and all this weird shit that's going on, and all this PC stuff, all these people coming out and like getting all these comics in trouble and all this for some shit that they said years ago or whatever.
Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
Like the SNL thing that happened with that guy.
The SNL guy came out and. But sometimes these motherfuckers are saying some shit that you're like, damn. I don't know if I want to work with a guy like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In his case, I don't really know exactly what happened. He said like chink or something online, right? Or something like that. Isn't that what he said?
I don't know, but that word always makes me laugh.
But it was like a podcast.
So.
It was like a podcast. He said something like that.
I don't know, but I think wasn't he like talking in like third person though? Like talking about somebody else who said that? Or like a bit or something like that?
Was he?
I think so. I don't think he was directly saying it, but
I didn't care enough. Like,
excuse me.
SNL's never really booked anybody or had any like Mexican American guys on there. I mean, I know they had like Horatio Sands and Fred Armisen, but like, the representation of Latinos the way I'd like to see it has never been there. So why should I care?
Yeah.
Like, they never showed us love, so I'm not gonna. It's not something I'm going out of my way to be like, oh, this is this and that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and as far as like for me, like, it'd be nice to be in that situation, do SNL, but like as being a comic, it'd kind of like be the opposite of why I became a comic, because I want to be a comic so that I'm more free to spout stuff, my ideas, my opinions, and make it funny. With SNL, I feel like you can't really do that because you're under the public eye, you're on TV. People are always shouting down your ideas, whether or not you want to do it. You're stressed about whether or not you're even going to get to do your stuff. So
that goes back to that construct of it limits you creatively.
Yeah. And
but that's not. It doesn't have to be like that anymore. That's why there's people that are out here doing their own shit. Like they either like what you're doing. This is cool that you got a podcast, and you know what I'm saying. You're giving yourself your own audience. You know, everybody can have their own audience. Is what's cool about the internet, and it doesn't have to be like that no more. You know, we can do whatever the fuck we want to do.
Yeah.
And say whatever we want to say. Man, not to say that there's not gonna be, you know, any repercussions to that shit, but. People still go to Trump rallies, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, fucking yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like there's people that are gonna follow somebody, you know. Not that I'm saying that you're in that. I don't know. I haven't seen your stand up, but as long as you're not out there fucking saying some crazy shit, you'll probably.
Yeah, I don't really say anything too crazy like that. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm more situational funny. Like, I find certain situations, but like, no, I haven't made a bit out of it, but I was thinking about doing it. But like, this chick was, I was at Hot Topic and I was buying something, and she asked me if I wanted to donate money for the Breast Cancer Association. But like, she doesn't ask me if I wanted to donate money for the breast cancer. She said, "Do you want to donate money to the Breast Cancer Association? None of this money goes to corporate, blah, blah, blah. None of this money goes to blah, blah, blah." And she, like, had this whole spiel, and I was like, no. I was like, I prefer my money to go to rich Mexicans. Because she was like, it doesn't go to rich white people. And I was I know, man. It's fucking, I know my Hot Topic. I'm like, no, I was just fucking with her. Like, nah, I just prefer it to go to rich Mexicans. She's like, well, it doesn't go to anybody rich. And I was just like, well, then I don't want anything to do with it. But then she starts like telling me like, you don't want to donate anything. I was like, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. She's like,
was you walking around with a cup or what?
No, it was the fucking cashier.
Oh, okay.
It was the cashier. So she kind of held me hostage there because I was trying to pay for my product, and she's just giving me this whole little spew, and I was like, like I'm fine. I don't want to do anything. Just let me. She's like, you don't care about women. She's like, you don't care about women's breasts, and I was like, well, yeah, and I was just like, that's when I was like, I was like, fine. Like, no. It's like, I only care about women's breasts when they're in my face. And it's because she brought it out of me. She brought a little hostility out of me. So I was like, you want to play some games? Let's play some games then. But, like, I wasn't trying to be offensive, and I'm not trying to say anything, be misogynistic or anything like that. I just, for one, I don't like donations because, no, you don't know where that money's going. Yeah. And she can say all the things she wants, but she doesn't know what's going on with that money. I like, so donate money, and like, she asked me before, what did she say? She said something about Oh no, I told her, I was like, look, I don't like donating to these things. Like I have no problem giving a bum outside $1. You know, she's like, well, he's just gonna use it on drugs. I was like, well, I don't care what he uses it on, and I don't donate to make myself feel better.
Yeah. Once you give the money, what do you care what they do with it?
Yeah, I don't care what they do with it. For all I know, they're trying to save up enough money to buy enough heroin to where they fucking overdose and die.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's helping the homeless population.
Yeah.
I mean, I could think of it like that.
Population control.
It'd be a little bit morbid, but I mean, it's not up to me what they do with the money.
Yeah, I don't like that shit when they try to guilt you into some stuff, especially if I ain't got no money.
That's what got me into it. Yeah,
it's like, you ain't got a fucking $1 to give.
Yeah, man, they try to.
I don't. I ain't gonna be overdrawn.
They make me feel like I'm a poor, like I'm I'm worthless. I don't have that much money.
Yeah, $1 donation.
Yeah, because she's trying to say like it's only $1. Like it was only like I forget how much it was. But she was like, you can't afford that, and I was like, look, I work really hard for my money. And you know, I'm sweating my ass off in a warehouse for this money. I'll try to keep as much of it as possible.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like a certain cause or something, I'll donate or whatever if I have to. But like the fire truck people, like you know how they.
Oh yeah. The people
I always
give
money to those people.
Yeah, that's not anything bad. Why not?
But like, those motherfuckers fight fires. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like,
But just the way she came at it was so aggressive, and I was just like, even if I wanted to donate money, if I didn't have a problem donating money to that association, just the way she came at me about it, like so strong, like none of this money goes to this, like, well, what makes you think that you know everything? Like, do you run this thing?
I think what's happening a lot, and that's I guess kind of what PC culture is, whatever, is people want to take sides and they can't get it through their head that other people don't think like that, or other people don't think like they think like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they're like, even though they think of it like none of this is going to corporate rich people, whatever, they want you to assume that you think the exact same way, and if you don't, then it's almost like they're demonizing you type thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that seems to be a lot of the problem. That's what happened to a lot of these people with comedy. You know what I'm saying? One person says one thing offensive out of context, and then they believe this thing so much that they're going to go after you and fuck up your whole life just because of that. You know, and it's a sad thing, but can't control what people think. I mean, that's not something we can do. Not yet. Not yet, at least.
I feel, and I've heard some other comics say this, but I feel like because of how far the PC culture went, now like it's starting to turn around. Like now people are starting to be like, oh, okay, people wanted it to be PC, and now like we're to a level where it's so PC. It's like, you know what? It's trying to bring it back. You know, just pull that back. Let's start saying a little more wild, outlandish things. Yeah. So it's like.
Well, I mean, Chappelle put out that bit where he's doing Chinese voice or whatever. Did you see the new one? Mm-hmm. The new Chappelle special.
What part was that?
He was just doing. Or just saying shit that's not popular, you know what I'm saying?
That's the one where he talked about the LGBTQ being a car.
The letters people. And all
he left out the queers, though. He never mentioned about the queers.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I never heard him say anything about the Qs, the LGBTQs.
Nah, yeah, because he said that then the Qs come along and the dude like looks in the car. He's all like,
"Oh, he did say something. Maybe
I don't know what's going on in here. All I know is that I want to be in there, or some shit like that." You know what I'm talking about? You know that Chappelle
way
that he does.
That part.
Yeah,
and I like.
It wasn't necessarily like super funny. I didn't laugh like a whole lot, but I thought it was really good. I just thought it was. I still haven't seen the Bill Burr one though, the Paper
Tiger one.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
I like that one.
But yeah, I've been meaning to get around to it. But I think if things are funny, they're funny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I see.
It's the people that aren't funny that are fucking it up for everybody else.
I heard a comment to another female comic, like, who was talking about, like, she had some pussy jokes, some jokes about her pussy. And the comic was telling her, it's like, no, try to stay away from talking about your pussy. You don't want to be that girl known as the pussy comic. And I didn't agree with that because I was like, well, if it's funny, it shouldn't matter what she's joking about. Yeah, and look, and there's so many female comics who were able to become great comics because they made funny jokes, even if it was about their pussy. Like, what's that chick? Lampanelli?
Oh yeah, Lisa Lampanelli.
Lisa Lampanelli. You know, she's tons of pussy jokes. Same thing with Sarah Silverman. Pussy jokes. But they made it hilarious. So when I see somebody telling somebody else not to, like, do a certain thing because they don't want to be looked at that person. But if it's funny, why not do it?
Yeah, I think it has to be funny and disguised really well. Like, it's also, I think you got to be you have to have a certain level of intelligence to write a really good, dirty bit. Like Lisa Lampanelli, I think she was like a Ivy League school graduate. Like,
I think so.
She's a really smart person, you know what I'm saying? She might come off as this crass person, but she's basically a genius, you know, in a way, you know, if she's applying that to comedy. So what happens with that, I think, is a lot of people see, like, somebody like Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle saying all this stuff, right? And they're going after PC culture, and it creates a bunch of hacks that try to do the same shit, but they're not funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what Pantone color is? Like, it's when I don't even know if I'm using it the right way. But it's like, I guess, like, some fashion people, they say, the color of the season is gonna be this color, right? Mm-hmm. Like, say it's like purple, and now all these other people are gonna base all their fashion for that season or whatever based off this color, right?
Yeah.
And that goes like from like polo to like all the way to stuff you buy at Walmart type thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, it's levels to it, and to me, that's like what comedy is. Like when Dave Chappelle is the Pantone color, and everybody else is gonna try to mock that type of shit down to the fucking open mic level. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what happens. That's how influential people are, and people think that they can do that, and it's not the case. And those are the people that are out there complaining about these other people. Oh, I can't say this because this person or whatever. It's like, no, you can't say it because you're not as good as that person. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. I don't joke about really controversial stuff because I don't think I'm that good of a comic to do it just yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you have to know how good you are, I think, to an extent at least. Like, there's bits that I'm barely doing now because I've gotten that confidence that I didn't have 3 years ago when I thought of it. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the thing about the you want to open up and you want to be silly. I'm sure you can do that and you can be that person, but you just don't have that confidence yet, and you don't get that. You can't rush that. You can, and you can look like an idiot maybe, and you can do it. And to me, honestly, those are some of my favorite people that go out and do it, go all out from the beginning, and they'll keep failing at that thing that they want to be, but then eventually they'll start getting good at it. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I didn't do when I started because I had that fear that I was gonna look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like, fuck it. Like when I do the open mics, I make sure I'm just trying to do something new, and that I don't look like an idiot, or you know what I mean. Like, I'm always trying to try something different, even if I don't get the laughs. Like, I used to fear the silence. Now I'm just like, all right, cool. I didn't get a laugh there. Maybe I can tweak it for the next time. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm working on. Like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like,
I think that's I forgot what the fuck I was talking about.
kind of. Yeah. kind of. I know what you mean though. Like.
I saw your girl walking. I was like, oh shit! Like, I forgot she was here.
Like doing. But when you say like you do a joke and it doesn't get any laughs, and like okay, but then you have like that's like plan A, and then you have a plan B, which is the same joke, but you just change it a little bit, and okay, and I totally can see that, like how you
look. If you think that you are this silly person, you want to do that, I would suggest just do it, man. Especially at the level if you're not open and all that. Try to be as 100% you as possible, but at the same time, don't get delusional. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Make sure that you're actually trying to do something and work something out of it. Be good at what you want to do. You know, take pride in your shit. A lot of people go out there and it's just like, it's like they don't care, and they get into the scene with other open micers and they don't care either. So now y'all are a bunch of motherfuckers that don't care. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they get caught up in it. Nah, you gotta focus on you. That's what one person I worked with as a headliner at Hyenas in Plano a couple years ago, and he told me, he's like, dude, whatever you do, just focus on, make sure it's you, the end goal is you. Like, don't be trying to be this person that opens for people or tours with people. Be you, be that person, and that should be your focus at all times.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do, get to that point. It takes a while, though.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm a fucking slow learner. So I feel like I'm gonna take that full 15 years to finally learn.
yeah, 15 years. Like, finally opening that hyenas. Takes you. Hey, fuck it.
But I'm gonna continue doing it. I told myself a long time ago when I first started doing comedy, I was like, I'm not doing this to become famous. So I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life. Cause why not? Cause I really enjoy it. It's not, even if I don't ever become anything out of it.
Well, once you don't like doing it anymore, then you should stop. But that's a good mentality to have. That you just want to go into it to do it, right? Not to do it for the money. I've been doing it long enough to where I'm like, damn, I need the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I this is what I want to do, but I do still need to pay bills. I do still need to do that. So, but there's also that side of comedy. There's a business side too, because it still is a business. Yeah. And I got to make sure that I'm.
Now that's one thing I do want to do. I want to travel and do comedy in different parts of the states. Cause I've done comedy in Denver before. It was so much fun. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. I do want to travel and do comedy. So I don't want to stay, stay here and just keep doing mics here. So I guess that's one of my dreams, to just tour. Tour. I want to tour and rotate. I want to tour and do comedy throughout the United States. Yeah.
It's possible now for anybody to make a following, especially with the internet, and people are going to want to come out and see you in just random places. Like there's a guy I work with now, and he has a big following online, but he knows how to get those people to come out to shows. He sold out 7 shows at the Improv, and he's not like stupid famous. He just understands that if people are following you, you got to take care of that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that like they're gonna keep coming back, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And also he's making sure that he puts on a good show every time. He's actually working at his craft and making sure that the product is good. And that is kind of the secret. You're the product, and you got to make sure that that's just, you know what I'm saying? That's pure, Yeah. Uncut. Yeah.
I'm supposed to have a meeting with, Flo Hernandez?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have a meeting with him, and he's going to come and he's going to check out the area, because he wants to do his own podcast, but he doesn't, he doesn't know how to get started. Like, he doesn't know what equipment to get.
I did a podcast with Flo years ago.
Yeah? Yeah. He wants, he doesn't, because he was asking me about, what kind of computer, and I was like, well, I mean, I had the computer built for the podcast. I bought the cameras. I started with the podcast streaming where I use, and he was like, I kind of don't want to do all that. Like, can I start in the middle? And I was like, okay. So we talked for a little bit. I was like, so what you want to do is, I was like, you want to have everything kind of like a setup already and just use it? And he was like, yeah. I was like, so do you want me to rent out you my area? Because I can do that if you want. He's like, yeah, can we do that? So I was like, yeah, there's no problem. I have no problem doing that. Like, well, so we're going to get together, and he's going to come look at it, and if he likes the setup, or if he
you got a nice setup here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's cool. I like the vibe in here.
There's a few add-ons I need to do. Like, I'm going to have a projector put right here, probably on that beam, and the projector's going to be right here. Gonna come down on that.
You play videos and shit.
Yeah, kind of. I'm gonna move that screen to over here, to where when I have somebody like my producer Lana can look up stuff, it'll show up on there. So it won't really be on camera, but it'll be where we can see.
And you can hear it online, or people can hear it. That's cool.
Yeah, so if we need to. Yeah. So and then he said that if he wants me to help him with running the show, and I have no problem doing that at all, because why wouldn't I? It's an opportunity. And then he said he wants to do it to where he eventually takes the podcast and travels and does a show, like a podcast show, kind of like the Kill Tony, like he'll do a podcast show and then have the weekend show to do. So he was like, how's your comedy? And I was like, pretty good. I get my showcase, I get pretty good laughs, and if I can make a room of 200 people laugh every night, then fuck yeah. So hopefully everything goes good, and hope we work something out. That'll be a great experience right there.
Yeah,
that'll be amazing.
Do that. But you got to make sure that the podcast is doing good. And
well, he said he has a lot of followers already who are waiting for him to start the podcast. So,
so like I said, I did a podcast with him years ago.
What was that about? Like,
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
He used to do some stupid racist shit on there.
Was it what podcast was it? Do you know?
It's called the Flor Hernandez podcast. It's like when I started.
Yeah.
Like a couple years in.
So he's already kind of done one.
Yeah, he did one for a while, I think.
What was it? Was it in his house? Room?
We did
Studio?
it at Deep Ellum on Air.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that. I'm sure that's still on, right? Deep Ellum on Air.
Maybe he did tell me something about a radio station that was.
This was
gonna
like
help him out with something
3 or 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flo was one of the first people to take me on the road. I got to do shows with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I did a lot of shows with him back in the day. Yeah. I think that's like a rite of passage for all Mexican comics in Dallas. Because like even Nick did. Nick used to go on the road with Flo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long has Flo been doing comedy for?
I don't know. 15 years, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I hadn't seen him in a while. Talked to him in a while. Yeah.
Last time he called me, he was putting his kids in the bath, I guess, or something. Like something want me to put you in the bath or something like that. And I was like, sure, you can wash my back.
No.
He was like, no, not you. I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were just going along with it.
That's weird because he doesn't have kids.
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I think he does. Actually, I think when I worked with him, he had just had a kid.
Yeah.
Actually, I did a show with Flo. We went down to Corpus Christi, and we stayed in his dad's house. So I got to meet his dad and everything. That was real cool, dude.
Yeah.
He went to school here at UTA and shit. And he was just telling me all this stuff about like Chicano literature and all this other cool stuff. He's a real nice guy. But that's cool, man. Y'all can make it work, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my best to see what I can help him out with it. I mean, I have the cameras. I have my mic. I have one individual mic where like it's meant for one person. Yeah. But I don't use it because this mic catches everything. And
this does?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been laying this cup right here.
No, it still catches everything. It has no problem.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. No, I like the setup you got, and I forgot that the cameras are rolling. So I fucking grabbed my nuts and shit.
Did you forget?
No, man, I just woke up and then I went to go get breakfast. And I drank a lot of whiskey last night. Man, I think I'm feeling groggy as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shit, we almost got 2 hours.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
what time is it?
About to be 4.
Yeah, I gotta go get ready for the show. Yeah, man, come out. If people are watching right now, 2 shows, 8 p.m. and 10:30. Yeah. What
any other shows that you want to plug real quick, or something like that?
Thursday, I'm going to be headlining in Oak Cliff at the Sunset Crab. I think it used to be the old patio bar.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Alfred Jefferson. And then November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I'm going to be working with Chingo Bling at the Hyenas at Fort Worth. And then I'm in Little Rock.
Oh, I'm going to stop by for that one on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. I'm doing that. I'm actually doing that Red Room. You know Daniel Gill? You know Daniel Gill? Mikey B?
I know Mikey B.
We're doing a show actually in the Red Room while the main show's going on. So I'm doing both shows. So you probably come through and I'm sure they'll give you a guest spot.
Cool. Where's it going to be at?
At the Hyenas Red Room.
Yeah, the Hyenas Red Room.
So I'll be there then and then
on a Thursday?
Or on a Saturday. On a Saturday, I think is the Red Room show. Yeah. I'm there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. No, I'm not there Thursday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So I don't know what they got going on Thursday. I know the open mic is on Thursday.
I'll be there Saturday. I'll come by Saturday.
And I'm sure we can get you a spot on that Red Room show.
That'd be awesome.
If not, then we'll figure something out. We do a spot. And then I'm headlining the Dallas Comedy House November 22nd. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Who you headline? Well, you're headlining. So who's your feature and?
Man, I don't know. They book all that.
They book all that.
Yeah, they book all that. So
okay.
If I do some other stuff, I'll hit you up, man. Come through, do a spot.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah.
You got my number and everything. So I'm never gonna say no to doing a spot. Like if you're like, hey,
especially if it's a small 5.
Yeah, I'm never gonna say no. That's one thing I told myself. Never say no to when a person gives me an opportunity to be on stage.
Yeah. How many minutes you got? How much time you got?
I know I've got 10 minutes. I could stretch out 15.
Yeah.
But I have like legitimate bits that I know off the top of my head. I have probably about between 6 or 7. And each one of them is anywhere from like 2 to 3 minutes. I can 2 to 3 minutes. So I got pretty nice time.
Yeah, because it's important. Like if you just do mics, it's good to get in front of actual crowds that aren't comics or whatever.
Yeah, it's way different. And the mic I told you I did in Denver, I got 15 minutes. And when I was doing it over there, because I knew that this audience had never seen anything that I ever did. I was able to just go through my bits, no problem.
That's good.
A little bit of like banner in between, little crowd work.
Yeah, that little experience helps.
But it was just so the relief though. Like there was no pressure about worrying about what I'm gonna talk about, who's already seen what. Yeah. None of that. All that was gone. So I just go up there, just do my thing, and I had a great time.
Yeah, I forget now. I think about it like a year, 2 years in, you really should try to be focusing on trying to get those bits that you already know are kind of funny and try to shape those into something really good. Do you ever do the Dallas Comedy House open mic?
I haven't, mainly because I don't know. I don't know how to sign up for them.
Oh yeah,
I know
give you their email. There's like a
to
website you sign up on, but that's a good mic because it's people that are just there. Like it's not necessarily all comics. Like they have pretty decent crowds. Just like Wednesday Night Hyenas. This past Wednesday was pretty good. Like I don't know what time you go up or whatever.
Oh, at the Dallas one?
Yeah.
Usually I go up like third block.
Okay, and then sometimes you'll get some good crowds because
depending
on the night, Wednesday nights get some good crowds in there too. But yeah, man, try to get up in front of people that aren't always comics or people you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that because they're gonna help you out and everything. But sometimes you have to get that experience of get different crowds and shit like that.
All right, well I'll let you go. We'll end with that. All right. Thanks, Luis, for coming on, man.
Definitely, bro.
That's super great fun, man.
Yeah, I lost track of time.
All right, goodbye, everybody, and we'll see y'all later.